I'm not really an expert on trying to teach about this, but I have used this principle professionally for a long time. And I have been, even as part of my job in the Secret Service of the United States on another parallel world, I was watching with my eyes, I was listening, but I was reading what was happening in the White House in this case, on other levels that go far beyond what a camera could normally show you. So sometimes you use a camera to get an imprint of someone. And as you know, psychics have always used objects that people have, and more recently, a lot of psychics use photos to work off of because it's an imprint enough of someone on an electromagnetic, sight or sound level, or both, to give you enough information about that person that then you can tune in to their resonation. When you tune into their resonation, you have access to their thoughts and emotions. Thoughts and emotions, again, are really a multidimensional aspect of your beingness. They are not limited to the physical. When you have a hit on someone like that, you can go very deeply into their experience. I have told Cathee when I started having her under surveillance, because we were looking for some good that could be happening out there in the world to counterbalance what we knew was a dying world and what was happening on that dying world. I was working with about 20 people, and when there was a large emotional event, someone almost has a car accident or something, among the 20 people I was watching, I could feel that. Okay, look over there. They're having something happening over there. So then I would focus on that person's thoughts and emotions. And so it's kind of like my job was to kind of sit and listen, but not listen with physical frequencies, but feel a movement. If there was a movement in the people I was watching, I was right there, like focused on them, ready to go, and ready to take physical action if that was necessary. I mean, I didn't start watching Cathee till long after I had left the White House job, because the White House was no longer in a viable parallel world on that parallel world. But this is very pertinent to, I think, everyone who uses a public transportation system, you might say, like the internet. Even if you're not psychic, and even if you don't consider yourself psychic, you are picking up on resonations all the time. And if you have thoughts and feelings about what you see, and you feel like even a character, an actor on TV, that you especially admire, and you just love to watch that person because they make you feel a certain way, and you feel like you know them, even though they're just an actor on TV. You've never met them. That's resonation. If you're capable of feeling, kind of a special feeling towards a celebrity you've never met, you're psychic. You're psychic. Let alone, I'm sure you use that with your own loved ones too, that ability to resonate with them. Now, on the internet and the TV, I mean the electronic media, you are connecting with other people. over this electronic interface. And, Cathee has become very fluent in the parallel world to which she has already leapt off of parallel self, and that's the parallel world I'm currently based on. And they're a very telepathic world. So it doesn't take much for them to be able to find the signal that tells them that they're tuning into another individual. And once they find that signal, that signature energy, you might call it a signature energy, they are able to locate that person and send thoughts back and forth. And Cathee has found it fascinating, and I have too, since I've gone there, that so many of the nomenclatures, the ways of dealing with the astral that you on your parallel world have digitalized and made into equipment based processes like email, like cell phones, like texting. People on this other world do all of it telepathically. But it comes out about the same. I think a lot of people now prefer email because you don't have to have the face-to-face encounter, and sometimes it's almost overwhelming. If you're sensitive and if you're talking about something that has a great deal of emotion around it, they have ways of, when they have a conversation, they can put encryption around it so that it can be just between the two people and no one else can see. They can put it into an ebook, so to speak, and let it be a broadcast that anyone can tune into the conversation they just had with someone and see what happened, see what was said. They can make it so that only people who are curious about that conversation, who have a good reason to listen to it, and who are not just like paparazzi or something, they can put energy around it so only those people can see it. They can make it so that it, has a kind of a special, it's highlighted as this is really important information for you to know right now. Flagged, like a flagged email. It can go out to networks of people, like an e-list, and be seen only by them. If it's an electronic book, it can usually be seen. Well, usually the books are more than just a conversation. People kind of work on those and get the energy just right before they make it available as a book. But like a broadcast, you can. Cathee really enjoys doing broadcasts on that parallel world because she doesn't have to worry about how she looks. It's and it's just so immediate. You don't have to put it up on the internet or something. It just goes out. So we have, I think you have, let's say on your parallel world, taken what we're all experiencing, I think, on many parallel worlds now. The vibration of the earth, it's scientifically proven, is going higher. It's more finer frequencies. And that's kind of corresponding to a dimensional shift, to where the astral body, you all have an astral body. It's your dream body. It's your thought and feeling body, where that happens. It's not really physical, 3D even. It's more 4D. It's how some people would say. It's a little sketchy to work with how we label different dimensions, but it's higher dimensional. And on parallels like the Cathee's parallel self Leanie is on now, they also have had this big change. Their grandparents on that parallel didn't have quite the telepathic ability that the current people there now have, or their great-grandparents. Some of their grandparents, I guess, are still alive, so they would still have it. But things are changing. And on their parallel world, they explored it. They're very much more commonly known to be oriented towards shamanism and sorcery, we might even call it. On the parallel world, those who are listening to me now are probably on. These arts are very much alive in the secret services and the governmental services around the globe, I'm quite sure. But it's not commonly thought that, the average person is attuned to this level of psychic experience and to knowing how to go back and forth between their astral and their physical experience in the focus of their experience. Right now, you are feeling yourself to be in a physical body, but you're also at the same time multidimensionally in your astral body as well. And I find the whole idea of virtual reality to be quite interesting because I think it's kind of pointing at the fact that any of you could be relating to people on other parallel worlds right now. And virtual reality and all the games that go with that, virtual communities that have different plot lines and scenes and characters, and why not do it real? Why not really relate to real people on other parallel worlds instead of playing games that are kind of made up? I really believe that all of you would be able to do that if you were not being controlled by the very devices that you think are giving you access to that level of experience. In other words, if you think you need the internet to relate to people around the globe, or, phones, you will need them. And you will scoff at the thought that these devices are really just connectors so that you can learn to resonate with another person who may be halfway around the globe. But once you get their signature energy, which you might get through the internet, like Cathee right now, you're connecting with her signature energy. Once you get that, then you don't need the devices. And in fact, the devices may very much hinder you from getting a pure, clear, interactive signal. Or, I say interactive signal, but I mean resonance, not interactive resonance.